All right, well, here we are, Kag.
We are.
Still in America.
We are.
And we are at our next location.
Mm-hmm.
And another one I've been excited to investigate since seeing it on Paranormal Quest episodes. And that is the Greene County Museum.
Yes. How gorgeous.
So this here used to be a poor farm. Hello.
How are you guys?
I'm very good, and this is Matt, who's going to take us around.
Hello.
Hopefully.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. So the part of the building that we're standing in now was built in 1857, and it was actually a private family home from 1857 to 1861. And long story short, the family that built this house, they built a building that was a bit too big that they couldn't afford it. So they sold it to basically a guy that was a developer back then named Robinson Downey for $500. 2 weeks later, he sells it to the county of Greene for $5,000. And they started building additions, like specifically the part that's through that doorway there. That's the first addition that they started in 1861. Then in June of 1862, it opened as a poor farm. Originally, it was designed to house 40 people. It typically held, in that time period, about 90. So rooms were very overcrowded, filthy, terrible conditions. To the point where they even converted the attic to living space. And we know from reports that the attic, it's nasty today. It would have been nasty back then. It's a low, long, narrow room. And they had 16 beds up there 8 beds that 16 men lived in.
Wow.
And they would have been kept up there most of the time. There's one window at the far end, and that's the only ventilation it had. So I've been up there in the summertime, and it's remarkably hot. It would not have been a pleasant place to live, and it would have been remarkably cold in the winter. So these front rooms here, this would have been the steward's residence, and then from 1861 to 1887, all of the inmates lived in this initial wing back here. And then again, still overcrowding became a thing, so they built the west wing in 1887 and a new kitchen block in the back. And that's the long and short history of the building. So I'll turn over to Dave, and maybe he'll wander around and tell you guys some stories and some interesting stuff.
Excellent.
Oh, yes. There's plenty of stories. One day I was working outside, and I came in through the door, walked down through here, and there was a woman in the doorway. She was dressed in white, had white hair, and I'm like, okay, we've got somebody touring the museum. Walked past her, down to the door, Cag standing in, said, hey, you know, I see we've got somebody touring. There's nobody here. I turned around and there was nobody there. She had disappeared. When we first started here, we was mowing the grass around back there. We've got a pavilion out back. And out of the corner of my eye, I saw a gentleman, 1800s type dress, standing at the corner of the pavilion watching me mow. And when I turned to look full on at him, he wasn't there. He just faded off into nothing. We would stay in here, and one night my wife and I was sitting here. Of course, we had to have the lights off. The investigators pretty much run what lights they want on and stuff like that. And she says, why don't you go in here? We had cots in the office here. And she says, go in here and lay down. Well, you know, as soon as you lay down, you're wide awake. And I'm listening to the investigators, and they turned the lights on, and I rolled over on my side. And I'm hearing everything that's going on, the investigators and stuff. A hand came up underneath my arm and tucked around my rib cage, and I clamped down on it, and I hollered for somebody to come see it. Because I had it. I mean, it was a hand, and it was wiggling, and it was pulling back on me like you would if you got your arm trapped. I laid in, or was in here hollering and hollering and hollering. Finally, my wife saw me, I was kicking my feet, and she came in and she started shaking me, and I still, you know, mumbling and trying to get somebody's attention. Finally, when I came to, or she brought me around to being to, I lifted my arm up a little bit and felt the hand slide out from underneath.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we was having a little meeting here, and I'm standing just about right here, and I felt something on the back of my shirt. I thought, well, you know, I've got a wrinkle in my shirt. So I pulled the shirt tight and I felt it tugging again. I turned around and looked and there's nothing there. And it tugged again. I'm like, what in the world's going on here? I'm looking all around and there's nothing, no reason why that shirt should be tugged on. The meeting broke up, walked away, and I says, something was pulling on the back of my shirt. And the maintenance man at that time says, yes, there's a little boy in here that is running around, and he's seen him several times. And we assumed that that's who was pulling on my shirt at that time.
And where were the children kept?
The children were generally kept, I believe, with the women.
With the women, okay.
There was not supposed to be any children here.
Yeah.
But surprisingly, you can't have male and female in the same building and not produce children.
Would mothers, like females who had children, would they bring the children in with them?
They would. There's a whole lot of things that goes on there because the women came here mainly because they lost their husband or something happened that they could not support themselves, so they were brought in here. Some of them were a little bit on the mentally unstable side, and people couldn't deal with them, so they would bring them in here. But if I was a farmer in the area and I thought my wife needed some help, I could come in here and sign a woman out, and the only thing I had to do was feed and clothe her, and she was mine until I was finished with her, and then I could bring her back. The same thing with the men. It was a thing where you could sign people out and have them come and work on your farm.
Yeah. Do you know how many deaths there would have been?
So in the ledger, you can count 746 deaths.
Right.
However, it's going to be a number much larger than that because the ledger goes from 1862 to 1940. However, the final disposition isn't filled out on most of the entries. So we know in that 1862 to 1940, there were a little over 6,000 people here. It easily, 1,500 died here.
Wow.
Easily, probably more.
Oh, it's cooler down here. I think this is where we investigate tonight.
It's nice down here.
Oh yeah.
We'll just spend the night down here, Kay.
Yeah.
Let the boys do the other part.
Oh shit.
It's not real.
What did you say?
His brother's up there.
Oh my gosh.
What was that?
Plastic snake with another one
Oh,
up
okay.
there.
You know, I just walked right past it. See, I like snakes as well, so I like anything.
I don't like anything.
Oh, look at that. That's a lovely
Apart from
That'll
bats.
make a great photo.
It's kind of beautiful in there, isn't it?
Isn't
Oh
it?
my gosh, that is gorgeous.
So they actually had people living in rooms like that down here.
You got your infirmary.
Yeah. Yeah, so when this was finished in 1887, from then until at least the 1930s or 40s, people were living in this down here. And at that time, all the rooms would have looked just like that. Dirt floors, stone walls. The concrete wasn't added until the 40s. You ended up down here if you were really bad. In many instances, if the steward didn't like you. And most of these rooms would have been outfitted with chains.
Right.
And in fact, in one of the rooms, there's still evidence of that left.
These aren't the original ones, though.
Those aren't the original chains.
No.
The thing coming down from the ceiling is.
Right. Oh, wow. Did it become a bit of an asylum?
It basically was from the beginning.
Right.
In practice, in theory, poor farm. In practice, it was a small asylum. Like, mostly states would run the big lunatic asylums, as they called them, and then the counties had these, and these were basically like auxiliaries to those. In fact, we have ledgers that show there was a lot of traffic back and forth between Dixmont State Hospital and Pittsburgh, which sadly is no longer standing. But you see lots of back and forth, and it's like people cycle through both. But in the 1930s, when they built the Curry home across the street, which was designed to replace this,
right,
they did some renovations here, but really it wasn't much. They didn't change much of the original material. And then by 1964, the Curry home was operating in full force, and this place shut down. Then our museum took the building over in 1968. So thankfully we did, because had we not, this building would be long gone. So you got any more stories down here, Dave?
Well, one of the things, you notice the doors are lowered.
Yep.
That is to prevent somebody who's in that room when you open the door up from running out. Because if you ever tried to run and duck at the same time, it doesn't work. If you came running out, you more likely smacked your head and put yourself back into a concussion.
I think we've all ran our heads into this.
Yeah, I just want you to stand there to show the height.
Yeah.
Yeah, you see? Yep. Yep.
I didn't mean bang your head in front of everybody.
No, but
okay,
yeah, we like to keep things real.
but I'll embrace
Our
it.
motto is keep it real. So I'll smack my head just for that.
Now, not everybody here was necessarily unable to provide for themselves down here. In this room, there was a supposedly one-legged cobbler, and he'd fix shoes for the people here or the people in town. He would, you bring your shoes out and he'd resole them and stuff. He also sold coffee out of here, and he kind of kept his own way, but he was able to stay here, which gave him a sense of purpose and gave him a little bit of income.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Coffee and cobbler.
Yeah. In fact,
The coffee I like.
we even found a little tin cup hanging out in the ceiling.
Oh, really? With a little
it's
coffee
sitting
cup.
right here, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is
wow.
probably a remnant of when this was a coffee shop.
Wow.
Wow.
Dave and his son-in-law found this in the ceiling when they were redoing it a few years ago.
That's cool.
Nice.
I don't think there's anyone particularly mean or violent here. However, they do sometimes get sick of us, especially if we're here too late or too long often. What was it? Probably 2 or 3 years ago. So we have a steam locomotive in one of the buildings outside. And we had been in here many, many nights in a row working on that late. And I had come back inside this building to turn all the lights out. And you'll see later on that there's very few light switches. There's sets at the front, sets at the back. And I'd turn them off in the front, walk towards the back of the building, make sure all the lights were off, and then carry on my way. Well, as I was walking through the center hallway upstairs, it's probably 7 o'clock at night, summertime, it was still light out, but I had a tap on my shoulder and a voice whispered in my ear, "Isn't it time to leave?" And my response was, yes, in fact, it is time to leave. And I went out and told all these guys, it's like, don't go back in there. I locked it up. They're ready for us to go. They told me so.
Yeah.
So if you have to go to the bathroom, go to one of the other buildings, go outside, it doesn't matter. But they're done with us in there for the evening.
It's nice that you're respectful of that.
We try to be.
Yeah.
We try to be. So this is the original bake shop. And this is the original brick oven.
Yep.
And it is pretty big. And it still works.
Yeah.
We actually use it fairly regularly. We make food out of here for our events. That's the oven itself, and then the firebox is right here. But this oven does have a bit of history to it. So around the turn of the century, one of the women that lived here, her name was Sarah Nicely. She had a child. We think the child probably died through the night. Put it in the oven, presumably to warm it up because it had gotten cold. Left it there. And then the next morning, all the inmates wake up, they smell something that smells delicious. Come and thinking, oh, we're getting a good meal for once, because the food here wasn't very good. However, unfortunately, it was Sarah's baby that had, for lack of a better term, roasted in the oven overnight.
Wow.
But yeah, same oven. And it still works. We use it.
Wow. Oh wow, yeah. It does make it a lot more interesting, doesn't it?
It does, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, part of me kind of wishes the plaster was still up, but I also really like the brick exposed.
Yeah.
So this would have been the female ward. And the rooms we have set up here, like, these are all functions that would have been in the poorhouse, because the rest of the building's mostly a historical society museum. But we have a steward's office, dining room, and everything else. These are all recreated from descriptions of things that we know happened in this building. And this tends to be one of the more active parts of the building. Why? I don't know.
Right.
And then this room here and the room below it, in fact, there's floor plans in the other room. These rooms on the floor plans are called cells.
Right.
And if you look, the floor is tore up there.
Yep.
And you'll see holes around the door frame. There were metal or iron doors on here and on the windows. So we don't really know much about these rooms other than that. Like, I imagine you were probably not well behaved if you were in here. But, and another interesting thing, these beds are from this building. Yeah, and we know, like, in the 1860s, you know, people would have been living back here. Later on, we don't really know what this area was used for. I know that this next segment of hallway was the infirmary.
Right.
We think these may have been storage rooms or maybe like a rudimentary doctor's office or something back here. And then behind this door is a third stairway that goes back down to the first floor. That's kind of one of the reasons why we think this may have been storage or staff something, because it had its own staircase that serviced just this area. And that where I had somebody tap on my shoulder was actually in this segment of hallway. Yeah, it was probably right about in here, but yeah, somebody tapped on my shoulder and whispered. Wasn't aggressive, it was more of a, you just need to get out of here, I'm ready for you to go.
Yeah.
And the coolest bed on the planet.
It is the coolest bed.
Oh, wow. That is pretty cool.
No.
1840s, 1850s, give or
Right,
take.
yeah.
Just again.
Yeah, like I said, I'm biased, but I love this building. It's cool.
I can't blame you. It is cool.
All right, so here we are again with Paranormal Quest this time. And you've been here before, how many times?
Oh yeah, we've been here, I think at this point, 3 times to investigate. We've done 3 separate investigations as episodes, and then we've done a couple of events here.
And we've got other members of the Paranormal Quest team.
We
here, haven't
have. She-
And Dave's so
we? And Dave's gone.
Dave's
hiding.
hidden off around
Oh, there he is.
How are you?
So Miranda thinks she could hide behind, but she's
No, you're not.
Not.
You're too pretty to hide.
Oh, thank you. I'm just a silly lady.
I did a lot of in-depth research into the early years of the history, because that's when the bad portion of this place's history really was. This place really was meant to have a positive impact on the community, and in the later years it did. It was like a nursing home. It was like a place where they would send people who really couldn't take care of themselves, and they had projects and they would build things, and it was really nice. But in the early years when it was first built, we're talking 1860s into the late 1880s, this place was considered the worst institution in the state of Pennsylvania. It was so bad, in fact, you had inmates, because that's what they were called. This was a poor farm. They weren't residents, they were inmates. They were wards of the state. And they were writing letters to newspapers saying, you have to come and look at this place because it is gross, it is dangerous, we're being abused, and it's just awful. So this is the chapel room. This is where we had that big experience when we were here the first time, and where Dave and I heard the same sounds. You can see the church pews and all the chapel stuff. I don't know what it is with this room, but there's no place for sounds to really come from. And it sounded like someone smacked on this altar piece right here. And I remember the first time I was standing right outside the room, and it sounded like something just went.
as loud as that.
Yeah, and it made me jump across the hallway. And we heard it again when Dave and I were here, and we heard it twice. This room, on the blueprints, it's actually listed as a cell rather than an inmate room. And this whole first floor being men, second floor being women, they believe this would have been for the inmates or the residents that were acting up, the ones that were a little bit more violent. We came here to investigate, and it was just Jason, Dave, and I. And we were on the second floor, and it had just gotten quiet, and we heard what sounded like this really loud dragging sound. I mean, it caught us off guard, and immediately we were trying to find the source of this noise. It didn't sound like it came from the second floor that we were on. And when we go up there, we'll show you where we were standing when we heard it. But I came down here, and Dave and Jason were standing up on the second floor, and I was just, every room I'd go and I'd move stuff. I'd drag chairs across the floor, and they'd say, nope, wasn't it, nope, wasn't it. And they thought I'd given up at one point. And then I came over here, and I did this. And if you watch the footage that's synced up between me and them, immediately, as soon as I did that, they stopped and they said, what was that? That was it.
All right. So.
But the thing was the chair was in the exact same place as it was during the walkthrough. So William Cage was a steward here in the 1880s. As far as the exact years that he was here, I'm not really sure. But William Cage has really become, for me, a fascinating point of the history of this place, because William Cage is the type of person that you never want in charge of an institution like this. He was a disciplinarian, but he was cruel. I mean, he would beat the patients with a cane for the smallest of offenses, he would lock them up down in the dungeon, chain them to the wall, and leave them there. And I remember there was an inmate here by the name of Jimmy Stewart. I find it very easy to remember his name because of the famous Hollywood movie star Jimmy Stewart. But Jimmy Stewart was treated so badly in this institution, just one of many, and it's just one story of many. And as the story goes, Jimmy Stewart had had enough of this place and William Cage and the abuse and everything that he went through. And he went out to the orchard that's just over the hill here. And he actually hanged himself in the orchard. William Cage was in charge, and apparently when he got word from his staff that Jimmy Stewart had hanged himself out there, he told them to just leave him there. And it took him days before they cut him down and gave him a proper burial. Like almost 24 hours, I think, or over 24 hours before they cut him down. And it shows you just the type of cruelty that this place had in those early years. I think there is a lot of that left a mark on this place in those early years. And then you have your residents that are happy to be here. You know, the later years into the 1900s and just before it closed, and when this place was a happy place. And I think that's a strange contrast that you get with this place. You get these people that are happy to be here, and you get these people that were miserable to be here.
We were standing back down at this end of the hallway, and we were doing a session, you know, and it was pretty quiet. And I remember at one point, Steve had made a comment about the sound of the clock. They used to have a big clock running, and he made a comment about the sound of the clock running in the background just to kind of tag it. And as soon as he said it, down here, I'm going to guess it was probably the room right behind you on the right-hand side, or the last one down, but probably the one right behind you. And it sounded like, best I could describe, like almost like slippers, house slippers, and kind of like, because it sounded kind of slick moving across the floor, but almost, I mean, it was like that, at least 5 or 6 of them, and consecutively. And I mean, it was so noticeable when you heard it. I mean, we could tell there's no mistaking. I mean, it was right here. And I remember the first thing that happened to me was, I don't know if it was just being affected by it or what, but my eyes started watering. And the only thing I could say was, oh my God. And that was incredible. I'll never forget that.
Yeah.
Oh, Cag, watch out!
I've already been frightened by that once today. I jumped.
But again, like Matt always says, it's like, this place has a lot of history, and I feel like the residents, the inmates that lived here, they want the history of this place to be preserved. They're just happy that the building is still here. And so that's why every time they show up, they always tell them, like, hey, we're here to work. You know, they talk to them all the time in here from what they say. And I've never picked up on anything bad here. There's been an oppressive energy that people have assumed was William Cage, but nothing actually dark or malevolent or anything. But we've had some good communication in here.
Yep. Cool.
So.
All right. Well, is that anything else, or?
Just make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure if you're watching this, you leave a comment for them down below, and you let them know what you think of this video.
See, that's how professionals do it, whereas we go, oh, damn, we should have said that last night.
No, what was that?
No, we go to bed. Well, we don't go to bed together. Of
No, we
course.
don't.
we go to the back door. We go, oh, we should have said that. We should have said that.
Oh, we ever think about
But we
doing
don't
that?
want to sell ourselves because
No, we're just
looks
two old
like
ladies.
nobody will want to watch us.
No, nobody wants to watch us. They want to watch these guys, not.
No. See, I'd watch you guys over us.
You heard it first
That's right.
from him.
Yes, ma'am.
So, yes, ma'am.
Oh, yes. Yes, ma'am.
So if you're Paranormal Quest on our channel, subscribe. Make sure you subscribe to Adelaide Haunted Horizons. You got to spread the love. You heard it
Remember,
here first.
we're not Paranormal Quest, all right?
But also,
We're not professional.
If you're not subscribed to Paranormal
We
Quest,
fall over a lot and have to be picked up off the floor.
Yeah.
And if Cag can stay awake for a 3-minute EVP session, we're doing well. We're doing good.
But also, if you are not subscribed to Paranormal Quest, why not?
Exactly.
Go on
Thank
their page, subscribe.
Absolutely.
See how it's done properly.
And I tell you, they're not giving themselves enough credit either, because we fall over all the time too. I mean, I fell through the floor of a place before.
He nearly outdid me.
Nearly.
Nearly outdid me with that one.
It was good.
It was good.
It was. I would say, really, it was practically on par. That one,
Oh,
you know.
yeah. It's getting there.
But I tell you, I've never.
But he's never been picked up by a helicopter.
Well, that's true, and I've never been to a location that only has one step in it and tripped over the one step. So,
Give it time.
All right, so as I was saying, our name's Alison. Our name isn't Alison, but we're both Alison.
Again, I'm Alison as well.
Oh, didn't like that joke.
I bet you didn't get much in the way of laughter down here, did you?
It would have been pretty.
No.
Oh,
Oh, wow. Thank
you. Wow. If you go up to any of those lights, you'll be able to light them up. Well, thank you.
That was really cool.
Yeah. They're pretty, aren't they? Blue and green. There's a lantern at the end there. That one's really pretty. And it plays music as well. Oh, thank you. It's almost like it's testing all the lights.
It is, isn't it?
Thank you. That's what we would call a yes.
So the green's a yes, and if you go to the other side, it's red, and that could be no. And that way you can talk to us.
Down the very end, there's a lamp as well.
And that one's great fun, isn't it?
I like that one. If you can do that one, that would be great.
Do you know Alison bought one of those lamps for herself and didn't buy me one?
That's because we don't really like each other.
No, we don't. We pretend to.
We do. We have everybody fooled.
We do.
They think we're good friends.
Yeah. So we would love to hear from you. Because I know at one point this was a very...
Oh, thank you.
Wow, thank you. It was a very sad place down here. And I know at one point you weren't treated well at all down here. Which I think is very sad.
Whoa.
Wow. Thank you.
We were told about the vermin. That you didn't want to sleep in your beds because of the cockroaches and the...
The bed bugs and everything else. That was disgusting.
I'm going to put this little box in front of us here. And if you want to put your voice on it, they're just wondering if there is anybody down here, do you have a name? Maybe you can put your name on that box.
That's my stomach. I would like to know if the cobbler is still down here. Are you still mending shoes and making coffee?
Oh. Light went off. I think making coffee is a great idea.
We're both coffee addicts, aren't we?
Mm-hmm. Ah, listen back. You reach it. You get on my fat stomach. Rumbling sound.
Probably the road.
Like dragging on good.
Was it? Ah, that's what they heard though, wasn't it?
Is it?
Remember they said that when they were, oh, hello, when they were upstairs,
Yeah.
below them they heard that rumbling, dragging sound, and it was that chair, but it's only just the floor above us.
Ah. We were also told that there used to be shackles down here. Is that true?
Wow.
The lights just entered that. Ah, I'm back here. It's alright if you don't want to talk to us, that's fine.
What if we quietly sing a song, not too loud, so they can't hear us upstairs?
Okay.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound. Can't do too loud. That saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see. I struggle to sing quietly. Did you like that?
Yeah.
Did you like our song then? I sang that just for you guys. Sorry it wasn't sung very well. We're not very good singers.
Oh, I understand.
Oh.
Well, that's good. I'm glad you understand.
Did William beat you? He wasn't a nice man, was he? Makes you wonder how he got away with it.
You've got to.
Really sorry for the way you were treated.
Adelaide.
Adelaide.
So that's online radio. It's come out with Adelaide.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay. We live in Adelaide, in Australia. So it's a long way away.
I can hear footsteps. I can hear footsteps, guys, but PQ's up on the 3rd floor. There's a big floor between us both.
We shouldn't have clear footsteps.
But we've got them.
We've got.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, we're in the basement. They're on the 2nd floor, so there's a floor between
Just
us.
said yes.
Oh.
Flux had just gone off.
Thank you for that.
That's really good.
That's very good. It was very good.
And the lights went off.
Even worse.
What about the lamp at the very end? You'd recognise the shape of the lamp because that shape would be very familiar to you guys.
Okay, let's try Ghost Stupid instead. I hope that's it. I can't talk.
Oh, why can't you
Why
talk?
can't you talk? I don't want to come down to Nesters. If they're finished doing whatever, then they can take it here if they want. Alright, so if there is anybody here, it's only me here now. Maybe you can say something out of this. No? What would you like to talk to me through? You said you can't talk now, why is that? You can talk about with the lights if you like, if it makes you feel more comfortable. Could ask questions. Yeah? Okay. What about flashing the lights for a yes? Can you flash the lights just to let me know that you understand? Flash the lights for yes. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, that was pretty cool. Thank you for that. All right. Were you down here for long? Were you down here for only a short time? Tag, they're upstairs just having a break. Were you a man? Thank you. Were there only men down here? There was only men put down here. Thank you. Did you share upstairs with the women? Were you put in the rooms with women? Were you put in here because you had nowhere else to go? This was the only place? Were you put in here because you committed a crime?
Me.
All right. Are you happy the cag's coming back? Oh, cool. Thank you. Thank you.
Well, that's interesting.
So it's interesting that they...
Hmm?
But what's interesting is the communication we're having at the moment with those lights.
Oh, really?
And it's happy you've come back. Sarah.
Oh, that's nice.
There,
Oh.
see?
Thank you.
So what was interesting?
They heard those footsteps as well
Oh,
from below them. This is what, about 20 odd minutes ago?
yeah.
And I said, yeah. They heard it. And they've been hearing noises coming from that floor as well. From below them. I said, well, we've heard stuff above us.
Well, that's interesting because...
Hello?
Hello. All right, so you've just come down.
Yes, we just came down here.
And you didn't come down earlier?
No, we were on the second floor that entire time. And believe it or not, which everyone that's watching can go and cross-reference it with the video that we're doing from tonight, we heard the footsteps too. And I even went all the way to the end at the top of the stairs, and I stood at the top of the stairs and said, Allison, Cag, because I expected you guys to be down there,
Yeah,
like
no.
you came up or something to get a water or
Yeah.
something. But you guys had been down here.
Well, that's what I said, because I said to you, they'd probably come down to get something. So we were totally ignoring it because it sounded so real.
Yeah,
Yeah,
So-
that's what we thought.
Yeah.
that's what we thought.
Oh,
But
wow.
it was just it was a few really heavy ones.
Yeah.
But then it was stopped after that.
Yeah. And that was about the same time that we had the name Jeremy come through Ghost Tube.
Right.
Right after those footsteps. That was Dave?
Yeah, sorry. Jeremy.
Jeremy. Is your name Jeremy?
Dude, but there's someone walking down here. Wait right there, guys. Yeah. Like, very clearly there was someone walking. Cag, Allison? It was very clear footsteps. Who's down here? Cag, Allison? Are you down there?
Yeah, sorry. Jeremy.
Jeremy.
And then it was like everything went silent.
Wow. Because, yeah, they'll see on our video that we're sitting on the steps the whole time
Yeah.
when we're hearing them up above.
That's so weird.
That is weird.
And that is a common occurrence here, is
Yeah.
the residual footsteps. I mean, like Jason heard up on the second floor, and they hear them all the time.
Yeah.
The sound of someone walking up above us.
So I did actually say the sentence to you, didn't I? Oh, they've probably just forgotten something. They've come to get something.
And that's
so.
funny because we said the same about you. We both were blaming it on each other.
But how cool is that though? We both experienced the same thing. And it's been on the floor in between.
Yep.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
I just felt like something like tugged on my hair.
Oh, is that why you got close to me? Because I felt your elbow hit me. That's why.
Sorry.
But you said that before we came down here.
I was getting the equipment ready and it felt like somebody poked me in the shoulder upstairs in the big room there. So.
And then earlier you had an experience with your bra strap.
Yeah, it was when we first came. It was like the band at the back.
Right.
And it just felt like somebody just like grabbed it and then it like snapped back, if that makes sense, like with their finger, like right in the small of my back.
Which is the kind of thing we used to do at school.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was really
in my
weird.
day, or the boys did. I didn't go around touching people's bras. It's not like not like I did it. But I don't know, did they do that at your school, Kev? It was the lads used to come up behind, grab your bra strap and let it snap back.
No,
it must have been at a reprobate break. Reprobate
You're
school.
a man's school, so it's like we're a man's school for girls.
So, all right. And if we want to do a Nestus, does somebody want to go on headphones? Who wants to go on headphones? Ryan's always.
It's alright, it's your torch, doesn't matter.
There goes the obelisk. Crunch.
Leave.
Do you want to move that around again?
Yeah.
Why do you want us to leave?
Maybe take it down closer to him. Yeah. Can I?
What do you do? I'll hold
Yeah,
this.
you hold that.
You want me to walk
So you
it
get
down?
us.
I'll walk it down for you.
All right. So you just get him so it's on him.
Yeah. Be careful.
Yeah, be careful, David. Don't tread on the equipment. You've been told.
So the guy down at the end there with some funny things on his ears, his name's, I have to think then.
What's his name?
What's his name? Ryan. Okay, Ryan. It's like, his name's Ryan. Now if you go and talk to him, he'll be able to tell us what you say. Alright. So can you tell me how many living people?
Dead.
All right. So all right.
Okay, well how many dead people then? How many
That's
still?
funny.
It is. It is funny. I think you have a bit of a sense of humour down here.
Would you be able to tell me how many living people are here?
Wasn't right.
It wasn't right that they put you down here.
It's disgusting, actually.
Hello.
Hello. How are you? Who are we talking to? What's your name?
We've got Alison, Cag, Miranda, Dave, Jason, Ryan.
My God, you've remembered all
I know,
the
it's
names.
good going.
Wow.
I thought I memorised
You see
them
how
before.
easily she just ran those names
I did.
off?
I actually went through them in my head first before I did that.
Did you practice it three
I
times in
did.
your head
I was
first?
like, okay, names. Let's do it now when I'm on a roll. So can you tell me what your name is, please?
Blood.
Well, there was blood on the floor here, or what looked like blood.
Really need to go?
You can go if you want to. There's nothing stopping you now.
Pretty.
Ah, I told you.
Mark.
Well, I was going to say you, but then I remembered Miranda was here.
Yeah, no.
That was you guys.
Wouldn't be us.
It wouldn't be us, no.
Did they keep you shackled in that room in there? Whoa.
Oh, that
Well,
was really
yeah.
bad, wasn't it? What's the name of the guy with the cane? Can you tell me?
Sure.
Cool.
Oh, good. What was it?
I love it when they do that.
Oh, sure. I
Sure.
can. I'm not going to, but I can if I really wanted to.
Mm.
Do you want to tell us this now?
Hate God.
If you were in here, I'd probably hate God as well. He didn't help you. I would imagine it would test anybody's faith.
That's probably why we didn't get any lights for the song we sang.
Ah, Amazing Grace, yeah.
Must have been like hell down here for you.
Whoops. I accidentally shut it off, I'm sorry.
You can't get the investigators nowadays,
Oh, can you? Here's me thinking Paranormal Quest are all professional like.
I know. And
I just turned it back
turns the
on.
ghost box off.
And you just go and turns.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
As soon as I turned it back on, I got a woman's voice that said, Dave.
Oh, here we go. It's always Dave, isn't it?
Dave, they're going to want your babies as well. They're going to want your babies as well. Everybody wants Dave to make them some babies.
Do you like Dave?
If I come down there, will you talk more to Ryan?
Nope. Now, I've said to them at the beginning to use lights as a yes.
Oh, okay.
So
Shall I go down then?
that would be a yes if they're following what I said.
Alright, I've moved down here now. Can you come out and talk? What's your name? Ooh. Sit by me.
Ooh. You're not close enough there, Dave.
Where would you like me to sit? I'm an old man, but... On those steps.
Oh, you're joking.
Wow.
Woman's voice. Okay. Now tell me your name. But not here. Wait. Okay. Not here.
Do you mean the steps at the end of the hall to go upstairs?
Here?
Yes, mate. How come it goes off if you're that side, but it doesn't go off if you're right close to it?
Well, he's doing the shuffling now and it's still not going off.
Third or first? I couldn't make that one out. Waiting. Third or first?
Are you waiting for Dave on the steps?
Steps into the third.
Okay, it must be me.
Yeah, you must just have to be at the right angle.
How many people do you see in this hallway?
I keep hearing a man's voice. That's the second time I've heard it. I couldn't make it out the first time, but the exact same sentence came through. And it said something about a face. Older.
Talk about us. Older face.
That's what we're talking about. Not pretty, but older.
No, it is referring to you. Not pretty.
We can't compete, I know.
Yes. They said to pull you out. Hell yeah. Allison, you want me to bring this camera back down?
Yeah, that'd be great. Thank you.
Well, you were like, sit on the stairs.
Yeah.
That's it.
Or wasn't it sit by me?
Yeah, that's it. Ryan said, "Sit by me."
And then where? And then I think it said on the steps, right?
Yeah.
But just as you sat down,
Yeah.
it said on the steps.
Yeah. Oh wow, it was weird. And were you sitting on the steps? Yeah. Oh wow. And then I think you said not that one or something like that.
Yes, that was it.
Yeah, first or third. Yeah.
That is interesting. And then it kind of stopped.
But that was cool,
Yeah.
wasn't it?
Has the ovilus said anything?
No.
Yep.
That must be nice.
Cool.
All right.
Moving on.
Let's move on.
Okay, let's.
Let's do it. All right, so we're now in the ladies. Oh, and the lights have just lit up. And this is said to be one of the most active areas, isn't it?
Yeah.
By ghosts, not by people. Especially the people here tonight. We're not very active, are we?
We're not very active, so you're going to have to be a little more active than we are. Because...
It's not going to be hard.
It's not, is it?
All right.
But we can do this. Oh, thank you.
That was nice. That was quite pretty.
It was.
Thank you for that. And this is the ladies in here. So thank you, ladies, for allowing us into your area. So thank you for lighting those lights up. If that was you, could you just to make sure it was you, could you just do it again for us, please? Just light those lights up, like you did before.
You can use it for a yes. Light the lights up for a yes. Do you oh, thank you. Do you understand? It did it.
All right, so what I'm going to put this down on the floor. We're going to ask you some questions. If you could answer our questions for us, please, we'd be really grateful. So I'm going to put it down here, just outside of the room where the ladies have to shuffle in and out. All right, if there's anybody here tonight with us, my name's Cag, and this is my friend here, Alison.
Oh.
Wow. Could you tell me what your name is, please? Were you here when the conditions were really bad? And your mattress was full of insects?
Is that a yes with your lights? They're not down the hallway.
I thought that was you.
No, that was down the hallway. And again. And again. And again. And again. Well, that's interesting.
That's you, thank you. Pretty well. Can you just move away from that light in the middle for me, please? So we can move away from it. Thank you.
Should we listen back? See if we got those knocks. No, that was down the hallway somewhere in the other part of the house.
Couldn't think of anything worse. No.
Got the knocks.
I thought it was you.
No, that was down the hallway. Got a loud knock. That is a loud knock.
That's very loud.
That was down the hallway. And again. And again.
That's interesting. That's you, thank you. Oh, yes. Thank you.
Flux.
Thank you so much.
And now all I did was go to the phone and press record.
Can you just move away from that light in the middle for me, please?
See ya.
So we can move away from it. Thank you. Cool.
But no voices. Which is interesting because we do get a lot other places, don't we? So it's good to see it's not the voice recorder.
Yeah.
That we do seem to be getting nothing in some places on that. Which is good. It's not a bad thing.
I think it's...
Do you want me to do a quick Estes or you to do an Estes?
Oh.
Which is going to keep you awake the most?
I don't know.
Standing up, asking the questions, or shutting your eyes?
Don't know.
Did you like the boys being up here before?
House.
Well, the house is over the other side. We'll be going over there soon. Do you want to talk to us over there?
Hi.
Hello. Who is it we're talking to? We've got a child here. Child's been heard up here.
Handcuff.
I don't know if we got the handcuffs out.
The person.
We had handcuffs out downstairs.
I saw.
What did you see? Did you see treatment here? Maybe bad treatment to other patients? Were you witness to that?
Bess.
Bess? Who's Bess? Did they hurt Bess?
Look. Now.
What, look now? Where am I looking? Where the lights are going off? Are there any children here want to talk to us and play with us?
Hiya.
Hiya. What's your name? Do you remember your name?
No.
No, you don't remember your name. Do you have anything to tell us? I guess people come in here asking all the time, wanting things from you. But can we do something for you? Maybe sing? Did you hear our music earlier?
I got one.
So it's kind of random at the moment, guys.
Out.
Oh, okay, you've had enough of us here? Are we disturbing you? Sorry about that. We can go. Does anybody want us to stay before we say we'll go? Because sometimes we find one person wants us to stay and the others want us to go.
Oh God. And then a woman laughing.
You have to...
Again we had oh God.
Were you religious?
So.
Do you believe in God?
Never helped.
God never helped, he certainly didn't. If you were put in here. So you stopped believing in God? Doesn't mean to say you can't be at peace. Okay, that's something next to me.
Are you getting anything?
No, but I just had movement right next to me somewhere.
Movement?
Yeah. I think it was coming from kind of this area over here.
Okay.
I wasn't getting a lot, but just that last bit was interesting.
Right.
Because I said about, you said it, oh God, oh God.
Yeah.
And I said, do you believe in God?
Mm.
And you came out with, he never helped.
Ah.
Which
yes.
God never did help, really.
And that one will coincide with what we had downstairs.
Yeah.
In the cells. Isn't it?
What do we have downstairs in the cells?
That didn't believe in God. I suppose if he lived here, it would have been like being in hell some of the time, wouldn't it? Early days. Thank you for that. Are you with us now?
Oh, no.
Okay.
That was a flux, no. Well, how can you light the light up if you're not with us? You're being silly. You're playing. That's funny.
Thank you for lighting the lights up tonight. I'd love to be able to hear you moving around up here. Can you tell me if that was you or not?
Seems quiet up here. So if it's quiet up here, maybe we should move on. What?
Can you hear that?
No? What did you hear?
Floorboard creak?
No. Alright, well, I reckon we go across to the house. What do you think?
I think we should go across the house.
Yeah.
See if we can hear across
Yeah.
the home.
Okay. Let's
Cool.
do it.
Let's do it.
So, as I said, PQ was here earlier. They had to go because they've got a 3-hour drive. A bit long for them. It is now, what time is it? It's
1:30, 1:45.
yeah, so this is why this is our last session, I think, tonight.
Can you make a noise for us, please? I'm sorry, I'm asking for a lot. But can you just make a noise? Can you bang on the door, tap on a window?
There's some bangs in here. You can tell us to go away as well.
Yeah.
I'll just go down. We'll do a quick Estes. I'll go down into...
Okay, if there's anybody with us, can you tell me how many ladies are in this room, please? How many ladies are here? How old are you?
2.
Oh, you're 2. There were children in here, by the way. Can you introduce yourself, please? My name's Kag and that's Alison. What's your name?
Test.
What test? What test would you want to do?
Free. Hunt you.
Oh, you're going to hunt us. What's your favourite thing to do?
Bear.
Maybe a medical test. Oh, bear, you're going to hunt bears. Is it hot or cold where we are? Where you are?
Leave.
I particularly want to leave if possible. If you're 2, what's your name, sweetheart? Can you tell me what your name is?
Our house.
It is your house. Do you want us to leave?
Enough.
Enough, okay. Do you want us to leave? If we frighten you, just let us know. We don't wish you any harm at all. You just say to Alison, the eyes you down there, the funny things on her ears. Just tell her to get out nice and clearly, and we'll promise we'll leave.
Here.
Cool. We just want to know who you are. Were you an inmate?
Ian.
So your name is Ian. How long were you here for, Ian?
Oh, that was your name then. Kag.
Oh, great. Do you like being in this house?
Enough.
Enough. Ian, if you're here, thank you for coming to talk to us.
Ken.
Do you like having visitors here?
Anything?
No, not really.
No, just random. So. All right, guys. We're probably going to leave it there tonight. As you can see, we are struggling badly. Nothing much is happening tonight here, and probably because we are flat. We have had stuff. We have had stuff earlier, but I think we always find if we're flat, nothing happens, nothing interacts, and you can't blame them.
No.
And we are struggling tonight, so we're going to call it a night. Sorry you didn't get much. In fact, we were struggling so much with the heat and the tiredness that we forgot to do an ending. So instead, we're going to leave you with a little bit of fun that we had earlier in the evening with Paranormal Quest.
Life had... Hang on. Oh. Life had just...
Oh, it doesn't go...
No, but you need to do that a little bit. We do half a thumb at the back. Just...
There's nothing on the back.
I wasn't like... Oh.
It's ruined my song. I had it and it ruined
Start
my
again.
song.
Start again. Let's do from the beginning.
All right, everybody together. Everybody out here.
Come on.
Okay.
Everybody out here. Let's get the energy up. Come on. All right.
Come on, Alison. This is Alison's pre-investigation ritual.
This is our let's get into it. Okay. All right. Do this. Okay. All right.
This energy.
Let's get this energy up.
Take it to church, Alison.
Okay. Take it to church.
Take us to church. You gotta get the high energy. You gotta go into it.
Is that recording us as well? Because we have to move this. Make sure we're all on there.
Hold up.
Hold on.
Hold on. Here we go.
6 different angles. They just broke it.
Sorry. There we go. What did you break? I knocked the phone out of the phone.
Okay. Ready? Okay. You all got your voices?
No.
Let me just do one run. You're just not taking
All I can think of is the TikTok for this. Oh my God. Wow. Wow, beautiful. That was it, folks. That's fitting into the song. Queen of the crowd.
Now, you didn't sing the last time we did this.
I know.
I hope you've been practicing.
I'm scared.
You gotta sing, Jason.
Okay. 1, 2, 3.
We were way off
Without laughing.
Is it the practice? Right. Okay, this is like school choir, isn't it?
Come on.
Come on,
Children,
children.
get together. Come on. Let's do this.
We've got an investigation to do, you know. Alright. You're staring at me right in the eyes. Alright, that's better. Okay, good. Alright. Ready? Now I know what you're doing on your face.
Just
Oh, hang on, that one didn't work. There's too much spin going into it now. Alright, okay, let's do it again. Alright. Oh, come on, keep up, guys.
Okay, wait. 3, 2, 1, and Mama, just give them. I feel like we're going at like 1/16th tempo.
Okay, I'll try and speed it up again. Okay. We'll get a good one eventually.
1, 2, 3, 4. Mama, just give them.
We have sung it deep in caves. We've sung it outside geysers.
We've sung it outside geezers. Outside some old geezer's house.
Oh, that's regularly.
How do you think we pay for these trips?
There's an old geezer. We're going to sing to that one. Don't forget to do what Paranormal Quest told you to do earlier. Like, subscribe, hit the bell button, and hopefully we see you again next week. Bye.